You're just a burden to this family. You're just a burden to this family, my sister sneered as she carried boxes into my room. Nobody wants you here anyway, her husband added without even looking at me. I didn't argue. I just started packing. The next morning I left quietly. But their perfect little plan. It was already beginning to crack. Living with my parents at 28 wasn't part of the dream, but after Dad's stroke 8 months ago, it was necessary. Mom had to keep working for the insurance, and someone needed to be home during the day. I worked remotely, so it made sense. That night, I got up around 2 a.m. for a glass of water and froze halfway down the stairs. Ivy and her husband, Adrian, who rarely visited, were whispering in the kitchen. "The market's perfect right now," Adrian said. "We just need to convince them it's the best option." "Sebastian's the problem," Ivy replied. "He's always been Dad's favorite. You know how they are." I gripped the banister tighter. It was like being 8 years old again, listening to Ivy spin her way around Mom and Dad's decisions. But this wasn't about curfews or concert tickets. This was something else, something bigger. At breakfast, they wore their best masks, smiles that didn't reach their eyes. Mom was making pancakes, her way of pretending everything was still normal. Ivy cleared her throat. "So, we have some news," she said, reaching for Adrian's hand. "We're selling our house." Mom nearly dropped the spatula. "Selling? But you love that house." Adrian jumped in. "We've been thinking about family lately, about being closer, especially with Dad's condition." I glanced at Dad. His speech was still slow, but his mind was sharp. I saw something flicker in his eyes, confusion, maybe concern. "We thought," Ivy said, voice sugary sweet, "we could move in, just temporarily, to help out." Then, casually, "Sebastian's room would be perfect for us. I mean, he works from anywhere, right?" The room went still, only the quiet hiss of pancake batter burning on the stove. Mom turned off the burner. "Sebastian's been here taking care of your father," she said slowly. "Every day." Adrian didn't flinch. "Let's be practical. 2 able-bodied adults could be more helpful than one, and we'd contribute financially." I sat there, fork in midair, watching them perform like professionals. They hadn't helped once in 8 months. Ivy had visited 6 times, 3 of those less than an hour. Now they wanted to move in and kick me out. The next week, they were everywhere. Unannounced visits, constant presence. I caught Adrian in Dad's study twice, both times claiming he was looking for a pen. The second time, he was beside the filing cabinet. The comments started subtly, then escalated. "Must be nice, living rent-free. Don't you think it's time to get your own place?" Always when our parents weren't around. But last night, that was the final straw. I was helping Dad with his physical therapy when Ivy burst in, Adrian right behind her. "We need to talk," she said. Mom and Dad had gone to bed. I helped Dad to his chair. Before I could speak, Adrian blocked the doorway. "You need to stop fighting this," Ivy snapped. "You're just a burden." I stared at her. "Excuse me?" "Look at you," Adrian added, voice dripping with contempt. "Almost 30, living with Mommy and Daddy. Nobody wants you here." I looked at them, really looked. Ivy's designer outfit couldn't mask how tired she looked. Adrian's shirt was wrinkled, his polished act slipping. Desperation clung to them like cheap cologne. "If you cared about this family," Ivy said, "you'd step aside. Let people who actually know what they're doing take over." I glanced at Dad, dozing in his chair. Thank God he didn't hear his children speak like this. I didn't argue, didn't defend myself. Something in their desperation didn't sit right. It smelled like fear. So I packed a bag, booked a room at an extended stay hotel, and left the house that night. But not before doing 2 things. First, I bought a few small security cameras, basic ones, discreet enough to place around the house. When I told Mom it was for Dad's safety, she didn't even question it. The relief on her face told me she'd felt something too. Second, I made some calls. I had Dad's financial accounts flagged for suspicious activity. Just a precaution. But Adrian's interest in those files had me on edge. This morning, I moved out. Ivy and Adrian looked triumphant. He started measuring the windows in my old room. She was already talking about redecorating Dad's study. They think they've won. They think I've walked away. But they don't know I'm watching. I'm writing this from my hotel room, camera feed open on my laptop. An hour ago, Mom texted me. Adrian asked about your father's pension paperwork, said he wanted to help organize things. I'm meeting with a lawyer tomorrow. Sometimes, the best way to protect your family isn't to fight back right away. It's to let others think they've taken control, while you move your pieces into place. I thought I'd feel worse about leaving, but watching Adrian rifle through Dad's desk drawer right now, I know I made the right call. The cameras are recording everything. They wanted my room? They can have it. But they're about to learn why you never underestimate the quiet one in the family. It's been 24 hours since I last posted. I wish I could say I was just being paranoid. I spent most of last night curled up in my hotel bed, laptop open, reviewing the footage from the cameras I installed before I left. Around 11 p.m., after our parents went to bed, Ivy and Adrian had what they thought was a private conversation in my old room. The audio wasn't perfect, but it was clear enough. We don't have a choice anymore, Adrian said, pacing. The deadline's in 2 weeks. Ivy sat on my bed, head in her hands. I know. But forging Dad's signature, Adrian? If we get caught, if we don't do this, we lose everything, he snapped. We're not selling the house, Ivy. We're being evicted. That stopped me cold. They weren't selling voluntarily. They were being kicked out. Adrian started ranting about an investment that went sideways, about clients threatening legal action. He dropped numbers that made my stomach turn, the kind that ruin lives. Your parents' house has so much equity, he said. If we can just get the refinancing approved. But Sebastian's going to notice, Ivy interrupted. He's always checking the accounts. That's why we needed him gone. Look, Adrian continued, I've got the paperwork ready. We just need your dad's signature. Once we have that, we can access enough to cover what we need. No one will know. I watched Ivy, my big sister, the one who used to sneak me extra cookies when Mom wasn't looking, nod slowly. What about the retirement accounts? That was it. I paused the footage and made the call. Not to our local branch, but to the bank's corporate fraud department. The woman I spoke with was sharp. She pulled up the account and confirmed. Someone had already attempted to submit a mortgage application in Dad's name. It had been flagged. The signature didn't match their records. I didn't sleep after that. This morning, I met with an elder law attorney. What Ivy and Adrian were doing wasn't just morally bankrupt, it was criminal. Federal-level criminal. The attorney helped me file for emergency guardianship of my father and began the process of alerting the authorities. Then I did some digging into Adrian's background. Turns out public records can tell you a lot. There's an active investigation into financial misconduct involving Adrian, multiple complaints. His firm has quietly been asking people to take down reviews that mention his name. That afternoon, I went to the house. Ivy and Adrian were out house hunting, their excuse for everything lately. Mom was in the kitchen, helping Dad practice, with his new adaptive utensils. They looked peaceful. It nearly broke me. Sebastian? Mom blinked, surprised. I thought you were staying at the hotel. I sat down at the table and opened my laptop. Played the footage. Mom's face went pale. Dad's hands started shaking, but not from his stroke, from rage. There's more, I said gently. Remember those documents Ivy asked you to sign to help with bills? Mom's eyes widened. She rushed to her purse and pulled out a stack of papers. Power of attorney, property transfers, loan applications, all unsigned, all waiting. I almost signed them yesterday, Mom whispered. She said it was for your father's medical expenses. Stop them, Dad said. Clear as day. I showed them the legal documents I'd brought from the attorney, papers to revoke any previous powers of attorney, freeze assets, and alert the bank. They signed everything. I'm still at the house now. The doorbell just rang. That should be the attorney. We scheduled a family meeting for exactly 1 hour from now. Ivy and Adrian have no idea what's waiting for them. They don't know their mortgage application was denied. They don't know they've been watched. They don't know Mom and Dad are finally aware. I moved one of the cameras to the living room to get a better angle. The car just pulled into the driveway. It's almost time. Update 2. It's been 3 days since the family meeting. I've been staring at this screen for over an hour, trying to find the right words. Here's what happened. Ivy and Adrian walked through the door like they were returning from a shopping spree, laughing, bags in hand, completely oblivious. Their laughter died instantly. Mom and Dad were sitting side by side on the couch. I was in Dad's recliner. The attorney sat calmly at the dining room table, a neat stack of papers in front of him. "What's going on?" Ivy asked. Her voice cracked. She saw the papers. Adrian stepped forward, that fake calm slipping into his usual smirk. "Is everything okay? We weren't expecting—" "Sit down," Dad said. His voice was strong, clear, steady. They sat. I noticed Ivy's hands were shaking. Adrian's collar suddenly seemed too tight. Mom spoke first. Her voice was calm but heartbreakingly sad. "We know about the mortgage application, Ivy. The one with your father's forged signature." "Forge his signature?" The color drained from Adrian's face. Ivy opened her mouth to say something, but Adrian cut her off. "There must be some mistake." I didn't respond. I opened my laptop and hit play. Their late-night conversation, the talk about eviction, the fraud, the forged documents, it all filled the room. Their own voices, their own words, confessions they never thought anyone else would hear. "You recorded us?" Ivy whispered, her voice a mix of shock and betrayal. "After I found Adrian going through Dad's financial documents?" "Yes, I did." That's when the room exploded. Adrian jumped to his feet, pointing a finger at me. "You had no right. This is invasion of privacy. We could sue." "Sit down." The attorney's voice cut through the chaos like a blade. "Before we get into the multiple federal crimes you've attempted, let's talk about your current legal situation." He began laying out documents, one after another. A pending investigation into Adrian for financial misconduct. Complaints from former clients. Evidence of identity theft. Adrian shrank into the couch with every page. Then came the final blow. The attorney revealed Adrian had already opened 3 credit cards in Dad's name and had been using them for months. Ivy's face crumpled. "Adrian, you said we were just borrowing against the house. You never said—" "What was I supposed to do?" Adrian snapped. "After the investment went south, everyone wanted their money back, and your shopping sprees weren't helping either." "My shopping?" Ivy's voice rose sharply. "What about the gambling sites on our credit card statement?" It was like watching a dam break. Every secret, every lie. It all came flooding out. The house they were selling, in foreclosure. Adrian's company, under federal investigation. Ivy, hiding everything from our parents out of shame. Dad sat through it all, silent, his face growing harder with each revelation. When the shouting finally stopped, he spoke, slowly, deliberately. "You tried to steal from us?" "Daddy, no!" Ivy sobbed. "We were desperate. We were going to pay it back." "With what money?" Mom asked. The question hung in the air like a guillotine. No one had an answer. The attorney cleared his throat. "Here's what's going to happen. 1. Mr. and Mrs. Sebastian have signed documents revoking all powers of attorney. Fraud alerts are now active on all their accounts. 2. The credit card companies have been notified of the identity theft. 3. He turned to Adrian. The authorities have been contacted regarding your attempts to defraud your in-laws. Adrian stood so fast he knocked over a lamp. You can't prove anything! Ivy, tell them! Tell them we were just trying to help! But Ivy wasn't looking at him anymore. Her eyes were on the floor, shoulders trembling. How much did you steal from your clients? The question deflated him. I can fix this. I just need time. Time's up, the attorney replied. And then we saw them. 2 police cars pulling into the driveway. What happened next felt unreal. Adrian was arrested, handcuffed and ranting as officers escorted him out, screaming about betrayal and loyalty and how this was all my fault. Ivy collapsed onto the couch. Her mascara was streaked, her hands shaking. Mom went to the kitchen and started baking, her way of processing stress. Dad wheeled himself into his study. I just sat there. Later that night, I found Ivy in my old room. She was sitting on my bed, holding a worn photo of us as kids. I didn't know about the credit cards, she whispered. I knew we were in trouble, but not that bad. He kept saying he could fix everything if we just had access to Dad's equity. She looked up at me, her expression a mix of shame and fragile relief. Why didn't you come to us? Because admitting everything was falling apart meant admitting I failed, that my perfect life was a lie. Update 4. 6 months. Later, they say revenge is a dish best served cold. Well, I've spent 6 months in the kitchen, and dinner is finally served. Remember Adrian? The guy who tried to steal my parents' life savings and called me a burden? He's now sharing a prison cell with someone who doesn't appreciate unsolicited financial advice. But that's just the appetizer. Let me tell you what really happened after my last update. I didn't sit back and trust the justice system. I got methodical. Those cameras I installed, they didn't just capture conversations. They recorded every phone call Adrian made, every document he opened, every email he checked on our Wi-Fi. I hired a forensic investigator. And oh, the things we found. Offshore accounts, fake companies, a trail of victims stretching back years. Each discovery felt like opening a poisoned gift box. But it gets better. Remember Ivy's perfect social media life? Designer bags, European vacations, flashy parties? Turns out those luxuries were funded by stolen retirement accounts, many belonging to elderly clients. Thanks to proceeds of crime laws, everything had to be sold to repay the victims. Her perfect life? Gone. Publicly. During the divorce, it came out that Ivy knew more than she admitted. Those lavish shopping trips, funded by blood money. The dream house? Bought with fraud. The fallout was explosive, every bit of it documented. And then came the twist. Last month, while cleaning out the attic, I found Adrian's hidden laptop, stashed during the chaos of me moving back in. It was encrypted. But I know people who know people. What we found? Better than. Christmas morning, hundreds of emails, passwords, transaction logs, victim lists, proof of everything. Remember Adrian? Turns out his ego was his downfall. One of the files on that hidden laptop? Recordings, him bragging to friends about how he was manipulating Ivy, how he planned to drain our parents' accounts, how he saw our family as an easy mark. He even made a spreadsheet, calculating how much he could steal before anyone noticed. So I sent copies of everything. To everyone. His family, his friends, his old college buddies, every smug country club member he'd ever lied to about being a self-made man. The responses? Satisfying, shocked, furious, humiliated. Some apologized to me, but I saved the real fireworks for last. Remember those clients Adrian stole from? I tracked down all of them. Some were elderly couples who lost their entire retirement. Others were small business owners who trusted him with everything they had. I made sure they got full copies, emails, bank records, court filings, his prison details. They've formed a support group now, and they're suing not just Adrian, but everyone who benefited from the stolen money. His parents? They're losing the vacation home Adrian bought them with stolen funds. His brother? That startup he funded? It's being liquidated. As for Ivy? She tried to play the victim, said she didn't know. But the receipts said otherwise. Thousands. Spent on designer bags and first-class getaways, all funded by stolen retirement accounts. The bankruptcy court had a lot to say about that. Apparently, buying $4,000 handbags with laundered money is frowned upon. She's working at a mall now. The same mall she once treated like her personal runway. Last week, I walked past her store. She didn't see me, but I saw her. That perfect life she flaunted online? Gone. Oh, and Adrian? His new reality is a little different, too. A forum for prison families recently shared a post from his cellmate. Apparently, Adrian cries himself to sleep. His tough guy act lasted 2 days. He tried using his financial knowledge to gain respect. In a place filled with people who hate fraudsters, that didn't go over so well. Meanwhile, back home, Mom's smiling again. Dad's speech therapy is finally showing real progress. Turns out stress was slowing his recovery. He and Mom are taking a vacation next month, their first in years. Paid for, by the way, with legitimate funds. Unlike someone else's European healing trip. Also, that emergency guardianship I filed, it's now permanent. I control all family financial decisions. Every penny Adrian tried to steal is not only safe, it's been invested properly. The returns are already paying for Dad's medical care. But karma wasn't done. Last month, a documentary producer reached out. They're doing a series on financial fraud. Episode 1? Adrian. I gave them everything. The emails, the spreadsheets, the audio recordings. His face is going to be famous, just not for the reasons he dreamed of. Yesterday, Ivy called, said she wanted to explain. I agreed to meet, but not at home. We're meeting in the courthouse cafe. Fitting, right? I've got the recorder ready, and a binder with every document showing her involvement. This will be my last conversation with her. Adrian? He has 15 years to reflect on what he did. His appeals were denied last week. His victims are making sure his name is blacklisted in every financial circle that matters. He won't be starting over. Sometimes I sit in my old room, the one they tried to take from me, and read the letters from Adrian's victims, thanking me, telling me I gave them justice, hope. Each one is a piece of vindication. They used to call me the quiet one in the family. Not anymore. They tried to destroy us for their own greed. Instead, they destroyed themselves. And I got to watch it happen, one perfectly legal, methodically planned step at a time. Yesterday, Dad said something I'll never forget. Sometimes the best revenge isn't what you do to them. It's making sure they live with what they did to themselves. He said it clearly. No stutter, no hesitation. Justice, not revenge. But it sure feels the same. This is my final update. Some stories end in forgiveness. This one ends in consequences. And for once, the good guys won.